All right, y'all. I'm in Dallas, as you can see. Look at the mighty constructs of America that have been built off the back of slaves. Slaves. I want to take this time out to ratify a few things, to clarify a few things, to edify some things, and to bring into reality the things that must shortly come to pass and the things that are already taking place. Now, first, I want to say Salakia to my Hebrews. If you come to this channel and it doesn't sound like your average Hebrew Israelite speaker, that's like the ISUPK, if it doesn't sound like the IUIC or the FOPE or the GOCC standing on the corner, the white man is the devil that the Bible speak about. That's right. If if that's what you're looking for, there's plenty of Hebrews that are on the corners preaching that, but that's not what I'm my initial agenda is. I want to talk about something because the Most High has put it on my heart to speak to my people. My people. Here's a good question. How is it the Mexican, the tribe of Issachar, how is it that the Mexican belong to the tribe of Issachar? And who is the Gentile nation? Because if you're black in America, you went to these churches like the Jehovah's Witness, the Church of God in Christ. You've been to the Pentecost, all these different non-denominations, TDJs, Creflo Dollar. If you grew up in these churches, you are taught that we are Gentiles, when the Bible teaches us way different, that we're actually the Jews. Now, as a black man, I can understand genetics. I can understand genetics. All right. Now, my question is, how is it that Judah is black? How is it that Judah is black, but Issachar is white with stringy hair? But we preach Christ had woolly hair. As it is in Revelation, it says his hair was white like wool, and his feet was like brass burnt in the furnace. And we know that anything that you burn in the furnace or with fire is going to turn out black. All right. His feet was the color of fine brass, as though it was burnt in a furnace. Okay? He had woolly hair. And these are the key points that we keep bringing out for Christ that I hear about. That because I consider myself a Hebrew Israelite. I know that by biblical facts. All right. I'm not Arabian. I'm not African. I'm not a Hamite. I'm not a Jebusite. I'm not an Ethiopian. I'm not a Somalian. I'm Hebrew from the tribe of Judah. Okay, so my question still stands. How can we consider the Mexican as the tribe of Issachar? When you ask the average Mexican what's their nationality, they say, I'm Latina. I'm a Latino. I'm a Latin. Okay. Now, I have some issues with that. Okay, because during slavery, the Mexicans was selling blacks into slavery. Let's go back to Christopher Columbus, right? Let's talk about Christopher Columbus. When Christopher Columbus came to America, when he first touched down, he saw black people in America. These were the tribes of Judah. These were the tribes of Issachar. These were the 12 nations that was already dispersed from Jerusalem because of the Roman Empire. Okay, they besieged Jerusalem and they overthrew Jerusalem. But there were already dispersed. The 12 tribes was already dispersed, and that was from the first Babylonian Babylonian Empire, when Nebuchadnezzar had overthrew Jerusalem. And in Syria, they have already been scattered throughout all the four corners of the earth. Now, my question is this: how can you keep considering the Mexican as though they are the tribe of Issachar when you preach that Christ had woolly hair? His hair was white like wool, and his feet was the color of brass, as though it was burnt in a furnace. And we know that you burn anything in a furnace with fire, it's going to turn black. It's going to turn black, man. It's going to be black. Not white, not partially white, not off-white, not brown. It's going to be black. It's going to be black. His feet was burnt in the furnace. It was the color of fine brass, as though it was burnt in the furnace. He had woolly hair. It was white like wool. The hairs on his head were white like wool. Okay? The hairs on his head were white like wool. That's right. See, just because I don't have 1,000 people behind me yelling, that's right, don't mean I'm less of a Hebrew. Okay? Check this out. So how can we keep considering the Mexican as though they're Issachar? There's no construct. Okay, now take a trip to Mexico. Now y'all didn't want me to jump into this subject like this. Let's take a trip to Mexico. Okay? And you know how you go into Mexico, you see the average Mexican. The average Mexican. And they kind of primarily just look like that, the average Mexican. But when you get into the rural parts or the poorer parts of Mexico, across the railroad tracks, etc., into the other parts of the hood, they start looking black with nappy hair. They're looking more Afrocentric. They're looking more African. They're looking more African American, Negro. All right. And when you speak to these people that walking around in Mexico that look like they were born in America, in your own household, black man, don't you think they would be more likely the tribe of Issachar? When I was in jail, I ran across a Cuban. I was in Colorado, Eagle County. I was looking at 15 years. All right. I was looking at 15 years, and this was just the year before last. This was just the year before last, going into 2022, before 23. Okay, so I'm in Eagle County looking at 15 years. And my point is exactly what I said about Issachar. There was a Cuban. A Cuban. I did not know that this dude was Cuban. I thought he was a nigga. In fact, the reason why I thought he was a nigga, because he kept going around saying, I'm a real nigga. I'm a real nigga. And he kept singing that one song. I think it's by, he kept singing a song. I'm in love with the cocoa. I'm in love with the cocoa. I'm in love with the cocoa. I thought he was a nigga. I didn't know he was Cuban until he turned around and he told me. When he finally told me, I said, what's your nationality anyway? So I thought he was born. We got into a conversation. I was like, so what's your nationality? And I thought he was born in America. He's like, no, I'm not American at all. I'm Cuban. I was like, so that's the reason why your accent kind of throws everything off. He said, I'm a real nigga. I'm like, yeah, but you Cuban, but you look like you was born in my own house. He's like, cause I'm a real nigga. I was like, man, you don't look anything like Ricky Ricardo. The fact of the matter is, when you go into the military and you travel, you see these different things, but you don't say anything about it because you don't know how to put the pieces of the puzzle together. All right. You go into Japan and you see the average Asian, but you don't see the black Afrocentric or the black Hebrewism. You don't see that they have roots, that they acknowledge where they come from or who they come from, the people that they come from, biologically constructed from black people. Okay? Now, when you go into Mexico, it's the same thing. You see the average Mexican. When you go into Guatemala, you see the same thing. When I was in Spain, in Rota, Spain, I saw the same thing. I was in Rota, Spain. I ran into a black guy. I thought he was from America. And he was like, nah, I'm not American, I'm Spanish. I was born in Spain. My family is from here. We was all born here. We've been living here. And I was in the military. They don't show you these things on television. They don't show you these things on the news because they don't want you to be aware of the truth. It's all an agenda. It's an agenda to keep the little white lie relevant. It's all to keep the fundamental lie relevant. It's a running joke. It's an old joke that has been told ever since they came in to Egypt and cut the noses off the Egyptians and started painting things white. They started painting things white. They painted the pictures of Christ white. They made Christ white. Listen, I don't have to make up nothing. Look at history. Since 1940, 1950, every movie that came out about Jesus Christ was a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes. Let's just be real. And they never wanted a picture of a black man from America that they call nigga on a cross or depicted as Christ. In fact, back in, I do believe it was like 94, 95, 96, Blair Underwood came out with a television series or a movie series or something like that, or a short edit film called The Color of the Cross. Now, let me bring y'all up to speed. Anytime that they wanted Christ to be displayed in a movie in Hollywood, he was white with blonde hair, blue eyes. All right, you knew he was a white man. When Blair Underwood played Christ, they tried to make him crazy. He was in a crazy form. He was in an asylum. They painted him crazy, made him look crazy. Something was mentally wrong with him. And that was Blair Underwood. And he played that part. He went on Oprah Winfrey and he talked about it. The racial discrimination, even when it comes down to Christ and the color of Christ. Okay? Now, here's the issue. Because when you read the Bible and without pictures, you only see the words. But if they put a picture of a white man, it does something to the mentality of everybody who is not white. It makes you look at white people as a high esteem. In fact, a lot of bigotry, a lot of manipulation, a lot of whoredom, a lot of murder, all type of rape and atrocities and tragedies and trauma and drama, oppression happened in America because of a white man being portrayed as Christ. You was beaten, you was put on a tree and you was beaten and horsewhipped for not believing in the faith. And then you was forced to go back to work as a slave. And they preached that even when they were hanging you from a tree. Now, if the truth hurts and you offended from the truth, then that's your problem. But Christ said, know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Now, what the white man is afraid of is retribution. What the white man is afraid of is retaliation. What the white man is afraid of is their destruction. They are afraid of their very own destruction. Okay? Who do you think printing out all these scriptures, all these Bibles? The white man is printing out all these Bibles. But as black people, we have a stigma about the Bible. We're like, oh, the Bible is a white man book. But when you read the book of Obadiah, it says that the white man is to be destroyed by God. He's going to destroy the white man. You read the book of Obadiah, so they're printing these books, the Bible, and they're understanding that their destruction is coming. Now, when you go back into the book of Daniel, chapter 4, it says that though that nation would try to mingle with the children of Israel, and just as iron and clay cannot mix, nor can the people mix with these people, therefore there was a instability to this statue that Daniel was interpreting from the dream. All right. He said, thou art the head of gold. But you read down further, it says, just as iron and clay cannot mix. So they will try to mix with our nation. All right. He said, iron and clay cannot mix. That's what the scripture said in the book of Daniel. It said, iron and clay cannot mix. When you seen a movie called Amistad, you saw these Mexicans bringing over these slaves into America, selling them into slavery. On a movie called Amistad. So again, I ask you, how is these people that call themselves Mexicans, how are they the tribe of Issachar? They say they fought for their freedom. It has nothing to do with me. When Christopher Columbus came over here, there was already black people over here that they call Indians. They call them Indians. Because reportedly, Christopher Columbus was looking for India. Said he was looking for India. I believe all of it is a lie when it comes down to what he was looking for. I believe that he came to the exact land that he was set out to conquer. I believe that. He came to the exact land that he was set out to conquer. They were initially set out to conquer the whole world. Okay, Christopher Columbus. He initially wanted to conquer the whole world. And present day, look around. Okay, they have conquered the world. Just as the Bible says that they was dumped all around the world, treading down everything in its path. The undescribable beast, Rome. Okay, the teeth of iron. had teeth of iron. And it stomped everything in its path and took over the whole world. This undescribable beast. Now, when Christopher Columbus came to America, there was already the tribes of Israel here because of the disbursement of Jerusalem and Israel throughout the whole world, the four corners of the earth. All right? The four corners of the earth. So if there's four corners of the earth, how can the earth be round? Anything that has four corners is a square. It's just little knowledge for people who don't know. You know, anything that has four corners is a square. Let that marinate. Anyway, how can they be the tribe of Issachar? They can't. They can't. And here's the issue, because everybody wants to be saved. Everybody want to be saved. Everybody want to go to heaven. Everybody, nobody want to go to hell. Nobody want to burn forever in a lake of fire, burning with fire and brimstone. Nobody wants to be there. There is not one human being, even Satan don't want to be there. Satan himself don't want to be in hell, burning forever, in torture and torment. In fact, when you read the Bible, when Christ approached this demon-possessed man and asked him his name, he said, "My name is Legion, for we are many." But before that, he said, "Did you come to torture us before our time?" And he told him to be silent. And that's when he asked him his name. And then he cast him out. And you know the story from there. They entered into the pigs, and the pigs ran and jumped off a cliff and drowned themselves in the sea. But these are primarily black people. Woolly hair. I present to you this, not a theory, but a fact. Esau is Edom. Edom is Idumea. Idumea is Italy. Italy is Rome. Esau is Edom. Edom is Idumea. Idumea is Italy, and Italy is Rome. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks about. That's right. Now, let's cover some real deep history. Okay? Since Esau is Edom, Edom is Idumea, Idumea is Italy, and Italy is Rome, they call themselves Latino. That's primarily where they come from. They speak the same language. Have you heard how the Pope, how Italians speak, and then listen to Mexicans, how they speak? The language and the lingo is concurrent. It's concurrent. Negro. When you read the English Bible in the book of Acts, it said that Paul, who was surnamed Paul, Saul turned Paul, because that's the name that God gave him after he was struck blind. Paul said, look, why are y'all trying to argue with me? It's not like this thing was done underneath the rock. You crucified Christ on a cross. You stabbed him in the ribs. Paul knew it because Paul was there. If you're not there, you can't describe what anybody went through. How are you going to testify what somebody else went through if you wasn't there to see it with your own eyes? Otherwise, it's just what they call hearsay, gainsaying. But Paul wasn't speaking in terms of something that he heard. He was speaking in terms of something that he saw. He said, look, it's not like it was done underneath a rock. You crucified Christ. You hung him on the cross. And now you want to pretend and cover it up as though it was done underneath the rock. Okay? Now, Paul and Silas and John, who wrote Revelations, they all traveled into Sicily. Now, when I went to Sicily when I was in the military, that's a battleship, a warship right there. When I was in the military, I went to Sicily. And when I got to Sicily, all I saw was nothing but white people. I saw nothing but white people. When Paul, in the book of Acts chapter 13, Paul and Silas and Barnabas, okay, Paul, Silas, and Barnabas, and John the Revelator went into Sicily. Okay, they was on a boat with the Romans that was holding them captive in prison. And there was a great storm that was tearing the boat apart. Okay, now some of the Romans got off the ship, even though Paul admonished them not to get off the ship. They died. They perished. But the ones that stayed on the ship with Paul did not perish. These were the Roman guards and centurions or whatever. Now, when they got to Sicily, okay, the Sicilians called them nigger. In the old version, they was called nigger. Because when I was in the 6th grade reading the Bible, all the way up to the 9th grade reading the Bible, okay, from the 6th to the 9th grade reading the Bible, every time I got to the book of Acts in chapter 13, it said that they was called nigger. But then they start getting these new translations and things like that. Another translation came in after a while when I got like to the 10th grade. Then they tried to change it from nigger to Christian. I said, you see that? That one little word right there. All that time from reading the Bible when I was a kid growing up, you get to the book of Acts, it said that they was called nigger. But you see how if they translate it from one thing to another thing, it sounds like, or they was called Christian. You feel me? So the truth is distorted. The truth is distorted. It's distorted. Not only is distorted, but it's made into a lie. Okay? Because they were not called Christians, they were called nigger. And the new translation changed it from them being called nigger to being called Christian, okay? Because in American slavery, we know one thing: the white man called us nigger. Nigger, 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 nigger. Every day, all day. Hey, nigga. Hey, nigga. So it was a dead giveaway, especially when you had like your Nat Turners turn around, get to the book of Acts, and then he reads Paul and Silas was called nigger. At the same time, while he's reading in the Bible, and I'm talking about Nat Turner, let's stay on Nat Turner for a second. It might seem like I'm jumping subjects, but I'm not. I'm touching it. I'm touching all aspects. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you a full course meal and not no McDonald's. So Paul was called nigger. Okay? In American slavery, we was called nigger. Nigger, 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 nigger. Hey, nigga, give me a glass of water. Hey, nigga, cook my food. Hey, nigga, get out there and pick that cotton. Hey, nigga, plow that field. Hey, nigga, play that fiddle. Hey, nigga, dance that song. Hey, nigga, come suck this white meat. Hey, nigga, come have my baby. Hey, nigga, hey, nigga, hey, nigga. So when you got your Nat Turner reading the Bible and he come across the book of Acts, because Nat Turner was able to read and comprehend, as soon as he get to the book of Acts, he read Paul and Silas was called nigger. And that was more than enough for him to start a revolution. Just off of that. So why did Nat Turner go off killing white folks? Because he read that Paul and Silas was called nigger. And he put two and two together. Man, they keep calling us nigger. And we gonna show them exactly what niggas is. Okay? We gonna show them exactly what niggas is. So Nat Turner led a revolution. Now, when you get into the genetics of Esau, okay, Esau is Edom. Edom is Idumea. Idumea is Italy. Italy is Rome. These are the Spaniards, the Mexicans. They're Spaniards. They're Spaniards. They're Spaniards. They're Spaniards. That's who they're Spaniards. They come from Italy. They come from Italy. They're Italian. Why do you think they call themselves Latino? What was Rome's favorite quote? Spain. All right? Spain. Spain, look it up. I don't want to get too deep into that because I want you to see it for yourself. Okay? Go watch a movie called Gladiator. Go watch a movie called Gladiator. And you see for yourself. Spain is Rome, nigga. It's part of Rome. Spain was considered a part of Rome. So how can you continue to say these people are Issachar? Now in California, they don't like us. The Mexicans. They don't like blacks. In fact, when they come over from Mexico, they say, "Hey man, watch out for black folk. They 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 evil people. Watch out. Don't talk to the black man. Watch out, because they're evil people. They're this. They're this and they're that." And there's all these derogatory stigmas that they put in their mind when they cross over from Mexico into America about blacks. So when they come over here, they already got these stereotypes and racial profiles against blacks. But when they get into California, they're killing blacks, shooting them up. It's oppression in California. That's the reason why there's a war in California against Mexicans. Then when they get over into America, the same motherfuckers turn around and find out we ain't your motherfucking enemy, but you are enemy to us. We don't do you wrong, but you do us wrong. In fact, I almost killed a motherfucker last night. I was in prayer and meditation. I was in prayer and meditation last night, closing out the Shabbat. And this Mexican came up and just stole my motherfucking food. Reached his fucking hand into my bag and was eating my shit. I looked up and pulled my knife and went after the motherfucker. They thought the shit was funny. But when I almost killed the motherfucker, they didn't think that shit was funny. And they tried to play it off like these little YouTube pranksters. You better stop. Listen, I'm warning y'all about these fucking pranks. Man, I'm warning people. Stop that bullshit. Are you doing it for YouTube? Somebody almost got their motherfucking ass killed last night. I don't fucking know you. Why are you fucking with me? You just thought you gonna pick somebody randomly pick somebody. You just gonna randomly pick somebody and fuck with them because you think it's funny. Because you think it's funny. Oh man, take a joke. Take a joke. You can't take a joke? Hell no, motherfucker. I ain't got no time to play. I ain't got no time to play. And see, growing up as a Seventh-day Adventist, we are taught one thing. That we the Jews. We the Hebrews, we're Abraham's children. That's what we're taught. We're taught that our father is Abraham as a Seventh-day Adventist. We even have a song. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Right on, left foot, right foot, chin up, chin down, turn around, sit down. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just praise the Lord. Now, as a Seventh-day Adventist growing up, we are taught that we are the children of Abraham. Abraham had a son named Isaac. If you don't believe this, then you don't need to be a Seventh-day Adventist. You don't need to be a Hebrew Israelite. You don't even need to be a Christian. You need to go hide yourself up under a rock. Or you need to go jump off the tallest building in a single bound. Okay? But if you don't believe this, you are worthless. As a Seventh-day Adventist, and you can talk about Christians all you want to, but as a Seventh-day Adventist, we believe primarily two things: statutes, laws, and commandments. If you don't keep the commandments, you're going to be destroyed. The Lord is ultimately going to destroy you. You will be utterly, utterly destroyed. You will be lost forever. There is no way you can get in the kingdom of the Most High without keeping statutes, laws, and commandments. As a Seventh-day Adventist, growing up, we teach you, if you're not keeping commandments, you find that in Exodus, the 20th chapter, it starts out, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of Egypt, out of bondage, with a mighty outstretched hand. Thou shalt not have no other God but me. But me. You should not have no other God but me. Before me, you want to change the word up if you want to. You should not have no God but me. I am the Lord thy God. This is why he started off. I am the Lord thy God. You shall not have no other God but me. I am the one who brought you out of Egypt. I am the one who brought you out of bondage, out of slavery, into a land flowing with milk and honey. You should not have no other God but me. And as a Seventh-day Adventist, we teach you that primarily. If you do not keep these commandments, according to Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68, that God will send you back into Egypt by way of slave ships. And there you will be sold to your masters as bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And you wonder why today you look around, you see so many black people poor and on the streets, homeless, unemployed, underemployed, uneducated, undereducated, dropped out of school. You see the poverty level in the black community. And every race, from the Mexicans to every race around the world, we get shitted on and pissed on. And then you got the nerve to come over here in America after we done built this land and everything in it. Benjamin Banneker designed Washington, D.C. He architect Washington, D.C. But you go to Washington, D.C. and you see the Mexican taking over everything. I can go to Washington and see how many black people in Washington is in poverty. 40 acres and a mule, man, that's to be laughed at. They never meant to promise you anything. They never meant to promise you anything. And this is how they view us, like a pigeon waiting to be fed. But then they come over here in America, take over jobs. I remember the Seventh-day Adventist Church spoke out against Mexico because the president, he said, his name was Pastor Cox. Pastor Cox was his name. That's his name, Pastor Cox. And the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we spoke out against that because they said something that was so ignorant. The president of Mexico, that was so ignorant and racist. He said, Mexicans come to America and take the jobs that even black people don't want to do. That's what he said. The president of Mexico made that statement. And immediately, that same Sabbath, the pastor, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, stood up in front of the congregation and said, now we're not a racist type of church because we're not a racist type of people. But we have experienced racism in America beyond any nation or nationality that has ever walked the face of the earth. And yet we built this country with our blood. They have built this country upon our backs. And now, not to be racist to the Mexican, the pastor said, he said something very, very foolish. Very, very foolish indeed. The pastor went on to say, he said, how can you get on national television saying Mexicans work the job that even black folks don't want to do? He said that was a very racist, foolish, stupid statement to make against black people. To paint black people as though we are lazy. As though we are leeches. Fool, you would not even be driving a car if you were not acknowledgeable to the fact that black people invented the vehicle. Did you know that the very first car transmission was invented by black people? I told you, all animals love me. All right. This country was built on the backs of slaves. You just a squirrel trying to get a nut. And you come over here and you take jobs that force black families to suffer with unemployment. And then you battle between the white man and black man for cheaper labor. Thus, you take the job away from the black man because we refuse to work for less than minimum wage. When we know the job pays more than $10 an hour, you willing to undercut us for $4 an hour and bring your brother, your sister, your uncle, your cousins, and your friends on the job primarily getting 2 for 1. Just a squirrel trying to get a nut. Meanwhile, the black man is sitting back. Why can't I do the same thing they're doing? I'll tell you why you can't be out there painting the freeway. Because the white man is the boss. He's the slave master. He can conquer this land. He done conquered this world. He enslaved you, so he's making the rules. The one who holds the pistol and the sword makes the rules. So the pastor goes on to say, he says, he make a very foolish statement when he said that. He said, you want to do the jobs that not even black folks want to do. When we went through what was called depression, you remember in the depression, blacks couldn't even get certain kinds of jobs. They was cutting down factory work. Watch Good Times. You seen a TV show called Good Times? Everybody know Good Times. How come when I bring up something, I say something about Superman, everybody like, who's Superman? Now you want to act brand new. Ain't that right, Mr. Squirrel? I'm telling you, all the animals love me. All God's creatures. But how did you make such a stupid statement? Now I went to this construction site. I got it on my YouTube. I said how blacks need to primarily stick together. You know why? Because you can't even get jobs doing construction. You can't get jobs doing construction. You can't, because they want to hire the Mexican. Now they got the Mexican woman doing construction work. Go out in Fort Worth, and you see all these Mexican women up off in the construction site doing work. I'm telling you, the black race is a target. We are targeted economically, socially. We are institutionalized for no reason, just because our skin is black. So, what's my point? Christ said this. Christ said, this is my point. This is my point. Christ said, you will be hated amongst all nations. And this is what the Seventh-day Adventist pastor was saying. This is what the Seventh-day Adventist, because at the time I was a Seventh-day Adventist. I was not only a Seventh-day Adventist, but I was also practicing Hebrewism. I was practicing Hebrewism. I was coming into my Hebrew nature. But you can't do that without the Sabbath. Okay? The Sabbath day. That's the reason why in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we have our affirmation. We stand up and we recite the fourth commandment. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Each Sabbath, we recite. We stand up and we recite that. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The pastor calls the congregation to stand. Let us stand so that we can recite the affirmation of worship. Everybody in the whole church congregation stands. And we say it all in one voice. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that within them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. You cannot call yourself a Seventh-day Adventist and then go and preach Sunday. We ain't having it. You cannot preach that the Sunday is the first day of the week, it's the day of the Lord. You cannot do that in the Seventh-day Adventist church. We will call you a liar, and we will say that the truth is not in you. And we will point out, if they do not speak according to the law and the prophets, Christ said it is because there is no light in them. So you see why the Lord God of Israel loves the Seventh-day Adventist church. And whether you disagree with that statement or not, that's relatively benign, but that's your fault. Because look at the prosperity of the people, even though they are poor. We're black. And we sing our song. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. I am one of them, and so are you. Well, you say, how did Esau come about? Well, because look, Abraham had Isaac. Isaac begot Jacob. Jacob was called Israel. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and then the 12 tribes. Jacob had a brother, a twin. Esau came out hairy and red, and his blood showed forth through his skin. Therefore, they call him Esau. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks about. Last year in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we had what y'all call Black History Month. We do Black History Year. Okay? We do Black History Year in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We do Black History Year round. Black History. The very first college education institution or any kind of education ever, the very first all black, was Oakwood College. This was so long ago, you would think people were still in slavery. Oakwood College was the very first black institution. Still is to this day. Check this out, man. I'm going to say something that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers, if I haven't already. And like I said, if I don't sound like the typical Hebrew Israelite standing on the corner with 1,000 people behind me yelling, "That's right," that's relatively benign. That's relatively benign. But check this out. Esau came out hairy, red, and his blood showed forth through his skin. Therefore, they call him Esau. Esau is Edom. Edom is Idumea. Idumea is Italy. Italy is Rome. Esau killed Nimrod, came home, and sold his birthright to Jacob. And that's the reason why he was afraid for his life, because he just killed Nimrod. Now, when you turn around, you look at the whole dirty picture. If you put Christ as a white man, it's gonna make everybody that's black look at white folk like you're the chosen people of God. You're the anointed ones. You're the ones. You're the ones. You're the ones. You the man. It gives them a certain retrospect. They get a certain power from that, because all the world start to fear them, because throughout the Bible you see how God defends Israel, etc., 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 etc. He loves his people. God said, "I have not dealt with any other nation except you." He told Israel, he said, "I have not dealt. I have not dealt with any other nation except you. I have made you, Israel. I have made you the head. I have made you above all peoples of the earth. I have made you the head and not the tail. So you put a white man, the Bible says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. So to put white men on everything will make you look at them in such a hallelujah kind of retrospect. Like they're so holy. But then when you paint us as Gentiles, you paint us as Hamites. All right. We don't even have rights to the kingdom of the Most High. We don't have rights to salvation. We don't have anything. When in fact the tables are actually just turned. You see the problem? Now let's look at you say, oh, well, if the agenda didn't work, the truth still come out. Wrong. The agenda worked marvelously. You have many black people walking around still thinking that Christ is white. And because you think that Christ is white, you think everything the white man do is either comical or okay. So they get to come in your neighborhood, harass, oppress, suppress, repress, distress. They get to police you. Then they hire you to police yourselves and to turn you in to them so that they can judge you and your people. So that they have set themselves over us as judges, as priests, as prophets, as teachers, as lawgivers. They have set themselves up quite nicely. Quite nicely, they have set themselves up. Here's the atrocious part. Their children benefiting from slavery. They now fold their hands and hide behind the smiles and the laughs. Such a joker from Batman. They hide their hands and their guilt and the shame without accountability. And sarcastically, they say that was way back then. Nobody's in slavery now. Oh, but you have benefited. You have benefited from it marvelously and took ownership of it. You just don't want the accountability. You don't want the retribution. The Bible says this: woe unto any nation that builds its inhabitants on bloodshed. You built a city on blood. Woe unto you. The Bible says, woe unto you. He said in Obadiah, I will destroy. In that day, I will destroy the wise men of Esau, and that they will be cut off with slaughter. Christ said this. He said, I come not. I was not sent I was not sent except for the house of the lost sheep of Israel. He spoke to the woman at the well. He said, "Woman, thou art a dog. For you have had 5 husbands, and the one that you are with now is not even your husband." Furthermore, he said, "You worship what you know not. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews." He said, "God is a spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth." He said, "Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." He said, "You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth." Now, if the salt loses savor, what good is it? A light cannot be hidden. He said, "You are the light of the world." What is the light of the world? There's only one source that lights up the world. Last time I checked, white man can't even walk in the sun. You ever seen a white man walk in the sun on a TV show called Naked and Afraid? You ever seen a TV show called Naked and Afraid where they send these white folk or anybody that, well, it's primarily white folk that's doing these challenges? They have to strip down naked, the man and the woman, and they have to walk in Africa and places like that, barefooted and naked. 21 days. They be blistering, they be suffering, their feet be burnt up, they can't walk, they have to quit. All type of stuff. Some of them suffer real badly. You know, they turn around and start putting mud on their skin to hide from the sun, to block the sun. That sunblock. Watch that television show Naked and Afraid. Watch how they are when they in Africa. Oh, they love being in places like where there's an oasis type situation where they can kind of be in an Amazonian type situation. They can kind of survive a little bit better, even though it's a little bit more hotter, but it's more watery areas like in the Amazon than it is in Africa. Primarily, you got lions and tigers and bears and things like that. So they be sitting in Africa in that hot sun. They be in that hot sun and they can't take it. Can't take that sun. They can't take that sun. Can't take the sun. That sun is kicking his ass. That sun is kicking his ass. Looks like it's a rainbow above the sun. Y'all see that? I don't know if you can see. I can see it. Looks like a little rainbow, kind of little rainbow above the sun. I know that sun is kicking his ass. One little sweat off of me, the sun be kicking their ass. They be turning, burning the hell up. Last time I seen stuff like that was a vampire. On a movie, it be the vampire. That sun kicking his ass. That sun kicking his ass, man. That sun is kicking his ass. But you come from Africa. You lived in Africa. You can't even walk in Africa. 3 hours naked and afraid in Africa. They gotta get ready to tap out. You ever seen Naked and Afraid? That's a television show. I used to watch a television show called Fear Factor. A television show called Fear Factor. They do all these challenges. Gotta do this extreme challenge. Gotta do this extreme challenge. Gotta do that extreme challenge. Extreme challenge. They always got this extreme challenge. But yeah, man, I almost killed somebody yesterday. The fool walked up on me, fucking Mexican. Was fucking with my food and shit while I'm praying and meditating. Fucking Mexican. And they got nerves enough to be talking all this shit about black people. Let me tell you something, man. Whether I don't know what they call themselves trying to do some type of prank. Oh man, come on, man, have a sense of humor. Oh, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. And when somebody pull out a knife, All right. Somebody pull out a knife. That motherfucker ain't joking. I'm military. I don't have time. Listen, these are the last. I'm telling y'all this for your own good. And if you don't care about your own safety, you don't care about your life, if everything is just a joke to you, etc., whatever. Gotta get up out of here. It's too hot even in the shade for them. It's too hot even in the shade for them. It's too hot. Burning his ass up. In the book of Revelation said that he will scorch you with heat in the last days. You'll be scorched with heat, tormented with heat. The only one who's going to be able to walk in this type of sun are the children of the light. We are the children of the light, not the darkness. How can we be the light of the world and be darkness at the same time? Now, either we are the children of darkness or we are the children of light. But we can't be both. We cannot be both. It's either one or the other. How can the water be bitter and sweet at the same time? See, trying to get up out of here, you gotta find some type of air condition. It's too hot. Yeah, it is hot out here. It's 100 degrees. Come on, man. Trying to get over there by that water. But they don't let, only children can get in the water. Think about what I just said. It said he want to get in the water. If he was a kid, he can get in the water. But that water sprinkling system over there is only for children. If he was a children, he can get in the water. All right. But think about what I just said, man. It has little weight to it. You can't get in the kingdom if you're not the children. Listen. He said, I came to save my people. Okay? He said, I came to save my people. If my people who are called by my name, if my people who are called by my name, if my people who are called by my name. So evidently all people are not my people. all people are not my people. He said, if my people are called by my name. If my people who are called by my name. He's talking about a specific people. And furthermore, the Ashkenazi Jews, the book of Revelations, Paul wrote, Paul had a little influence with the book of Revelations. I'm gonna tell y'all why, how Paul helped John write Revelations. Because Paul wrote the majority of the New Testament, where Peter had problems with racism, okay? And the other disciples, they were still afraid because of the persecution of the Jews, the antiquities of the Jews, from Babylon to Timbuktu. Read about that. The book of Josephus, read about that. It was written during the time where Christ was crucified. Now, mind you this. When John wrote about the synagogue of Satan, he remembered that being back in Sicily, they was called nigger. They was called nigger. And see, that had not had happened to John before. That never had happened to John before. So when he went to another country and they identified him as another race of niggas, they thought they called them niggas. They called them niggas. Acts 13th chapter, they was called nigger. Paul was called nigger. In fact, they said Zeus and Apollos coming down to us in the flesh. So they made a monument to Paul. They made a monument to Silas. They made a monument to John. Paul said, you don't even know what you're doing. You do well with the thing right here. You says, to the unknown God. You built these other altars, but you got this altar over here that says to the unknown God. Now let me teach you about the God that is unknown. In fact, the Sicilians, the people of Sicily, contributed to the movement heavily. Donations, food, resources, clothes, swords, weapons. Because they understood one thing, Rome was coming. And they was coming to destroy everything in its path, to make the whole world wrong. One world, one ruler, they wanted it to be Rome. Rome was supposed to be what they called at that time the light of the world. He was called the light of the world. That's what they called themselves. I could end this here, but I'm not led to end this here. But I am led to tell you that the end is near. And if the end is near, then your path is clear. And never mind about the gang saying how your name is smeared. The angels cheer. We throw away and discard these queers. They are destroyed forever because the end is near. Let me tell you something, man. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For the day of the Lord will not come. Except what? There be a great falling away first. What's the great falling away? Man falling away from the love of the woman. That's what he's talking about. There should be a great falling away. You don't even have to worry about faith in God. You just need to fall away from the faith of the love of a woman. Now you have fallen away. Now you have fallen. You have truly fallen. You don't even have the love of a woman inside you. You don't have the love for women inside you. The love of a wife. You don't have that from a husband to a wife. You have became transsexual. You have became transsexual as a result. You have became transsexual and homosexual in nature. The great falling away. He said in the end of days there will be a great falling away. And nothing has fell away further than a man walking away from the woman and falling in love with another man. That's not eccentric. That's not spontaneous. That's not cute. It's not acceptable. See, I don't need my ego fed. I don't need my ego fed. I don't have an egotistical attitude. I don't need my ego fed. But the truth is the truth. It's the plain truth and nothing but the truth. And if the truth is the truth, then let the truth rule. And let the truth have its way. Stop distorting the truth and turning the truth into a lie because you are afraid of the results of the knowledge of the truth being brought forth. But the truth will be throughout the whole earth. The truth. It will come upon time when the children of Israel will no longer be in darkness, asleep, lost. The children of Israel will be redeemed, and the righteous will be accepted. But we're talking about his children, his people, 12,000 out of each tribe. 144,000. 12,000 out of each tribe, equivalent to 144,000, with the seal of God on their foreheads. And it goes further on to say, if you want to talk about the Gentile nation, since everybody's included, since anybody can be saved, right? It goes on to say, measure not the court, the outer court. Measure not the outer court, for it's given unto the Gentiles. It's given unto the Gentiles, and they shall tread down the saints for 42 months, the holy city. For 42 months, they shall tread the holy city. They shall tread down the saints. Sounds like there's a war eternally going on. Says, I know the blasphemy of them who say they are Jews and are not, but do lie, for they are the synagogue of Satan. Matthew chapter 24, he says, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, people against people. He said, these are the beginnings of birth pains. But before all these things take place, they will think to put their hands on you, to put you in the prison and to kill you. And you look around them, in prison, in jail. You see they massively target black people. We have a target on our back. We have a target on our back. Too many selling out. How can you have the will to fight if you're effeminate? You think everything is a joke. Listen, these are the last and evil days. And I'm going to tell you about you pranksters. You don't understand, you don't comprehend. Or you going around, you just randomly picking people. And you're fucking with people. You're fucking with me. Just like that dude, that Mexican was fucking with me last night. And then he got scared when I pulled out. He got scared when I pulled out on him. See, y'all be thinking I'm playing. He got scared when I pulled out. He got scared when I pulled out. But he was fucking with my shit. I pulled out because I thought I was being robbed. I'm from California. I thought some motherfucker was trying to rob me last night. So I pulled out. I thought a motherfucker was trying to rob me last night, so I pulled out. Then the fool got scared. See, let me tell you something, man. Stop going around fucking with people. I'm military. We don't have no time to be sitting here guessing, oh, do you think that it's just a prank? There is no police officer in the state of America, country of America, state of Texas, California, Oklahoma, New Zealand or wherever the fuck. There's no police officer that's going to second guess pulling his trigger and pulling his pistol on someone that he thinks and feels that he deems is threatening his life. I shot him because it looked like he had a knife. I didn't know that the knife was just a toy. But I was in fear of my life. So I shot him. But I was in fear of my life. And the police officer gets off scot-free. Meanwhile, that same police officer pulls over a white boy. The white boy gets out the car, pulls his pistol and starts shooting at the police officer. The police officer is trying to handle the situation with calm and steady hands. Son, please put down the gun, son. The officer got shot at and still haven't even shot back. He's trying to calm the situation. Got shot. Son, please. If it was a black man getting out the car, he'd have had the pistol on him already. Get your ass back in that car, nigga. So you see, that's reverse discrimination. That's the true definition of reverse discrimination. That's the true definition of reverse discrimination. I can't discriminate against you because you're white. You're an oppressor. You oppress us. Now you want to act like Muhammad Ali never even said these things. Why am I going to go 1,000 miles to fight in Vietnam and I can't even get a hot dog in America? And I done won the Olympic champions. I'm a national Olympian. I won the Olympics. And I can't even get a hot dog. Now they want me to go way overseas to fight in Vietnam. I'm not going. And his statements and remarks about the war is what got him landed in jail. Tried to say he was draft dodging. Muhammad Ali. He said, you know what? I've been in jail for 400 years. I could be in jail for 400 more. But I'm not going 1,000 miles to fight in a war for the white man. When you my oppressor, when I want justice. You my oppressor when I want freedom. You my oppressor when I want equality. You my oppressor. I'm not going 1,000 miles to fight and die for a Viet Cong. They ain't never called me no nigga. But if I'ma die right here fighting you. I'ma fight you because you my oppressor. I told y'all. Come here, buddy. Come here. He been kind of following me. When I was in Colorado, I had a pet squirrel. Real talk. It was real young, a little bit young, way younger than him. Little baby squirrel. We used to feed him every day. He didn't even come up and let you feed him. Little baby squirrel. Real talk. Also in Colorado, I had a pet, what you call it, a bobcat. I had a bobcat. I had a real live bobcat for a pet. Real talk. A bobcat. They real gentle creatures. Bobcat. Had me a bobcat, homie. Called her Euphrates. Her name was Euphrates. Like the river Euphrates. Check this out, man. You say, what do we gotta do? What do we gotta do? See, in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we tell you this. There's a law that's coming. There's a law called the Sunday Blue Law. It's going to force everybody to bow down and worship this law called the Sunday Blue Law. Otherwise, it will be known as the Mark of the Beast, the Sunday Blue Law. Satan wants a day of worship just like God has a day of worship, a day of rest. So Satan has a day. Satan has a day for himself. God has the Sabbath. Satan has the venerable day of the sun. That's what he's called. That's what they called it. They called it the venerable day of the sun. The day of the sun. Did you know that the very first Christian, was the Roman Emperor Constantine? He became a Christian. Because primarily you couldn't be born a Jew. But they was doing this thing called grafted in. And being grafted in, you would offer up, like a tithe. You offer up a tithe to Paul, to John, to the disciples, to the apostles. You offer up a tithe in support of the ministry. That's how they were grafted in. Why do you think Christ said, make friends of those who have the money? Make friends of those. Make friends of them who have the money. He told that to his disciples. Make friends with the ones who actually have the money. They control that. So make friends with them. That's where your donations and things like that are going to be taking place. Make friends with those who have the money. That's what Christ said. Told his disciples. Now, as I pulled out on the guy yesterday, I pulled out on him because I thought I was being robbed. I didn't have time to think to myself, am I being pranked? Is this on candid camera? I didn't have time to think about that. All I could think was somebody's trying to rob me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody trying to rob me. Somebody trying to rob me. This was just last night. It was just last night. I thought somebody was trying to rob me. So I pulled out on him. He got scared. He ran over there to his homeboys. I already had the knife out. Then they come back over there trying to pay me some money because they knew what the fuck they did. When they came back over there trying to apologize with money, I thought the motherfucker was trying to come back to try to finish off trying to rob me. So you know what I'm saying? I was finna stab the motherfucker. See, I'm telling you, I don't have time. People don't have time to play these damn games. I'm from California, man. I'm from California. You can end up dead from playing. You don't want on your grave and your tombstone, here lies a man in his eternal rest who played too much. He played too much. That's on your tombstone. He played too much. He played too much. Too many shenanigans. That's on your tombstone. Too many shenanigans. You don't want that on your tombstone, homie. You don't want on your tombstone too many games. Too many shenanigans. I'm from California. What did Ice Cube say to Chris Tucker? You walking up and down the streets all day playing. You walk up and down the streets all day playing. He ain't playing. You think he playing about his money? You said he had a gun when you seen him, right? Now, name one nigga in the hood gonna play like that. Name one nigga in the hood gonna play like that. He ain't playing. You think he playing about his money? You said he had a gun when you seen him. Now, name one nigga in the hood gonna play like that. Name one nigga in the hood that's gonna play like that. You put your life on the line, is what I'm saying. And you doing these YouTubes, playing these games, these pranks, these shenanigans. You walk up on the wrong individual and you talking this shit. You playing these games and things. Also, you can turn around and be like, it was just a joke. You want to see how far you can get away with it before a motherfucker snaps. When a motherfucker really trying to assess the situation. You think you got a worm on a hook with a fish. No. You approach a motherfucker in public and you talking this shit. You shit talking and you coming at a nigga a certain type of way. This is anybody. It ain't just me. This is anybody. Anybody from California will sit your stupid ass down and tell you this. Listen. Stop playing these fucking games and shenanigans. You don't want on your tombstone play too many shenanigans. Too many shenanigans. Back in the day, my mom used to say that the old saying, there's a boy that cried wolf. There's a story about that they wrote. They wrote a story about a boy who cried wolf. When the wolf finally came, he thought he was just playing. He cried wolf, they come running. Ah, gotcha. I'm just joking. Again, he turned around and started, oh, wolf, wolf, wolf. Everybody in the town came running. Then when they get there, ain't no wolf. He started laughing and pointing at him. Ah, sucker, I got you. I got you. I got you. The boy that cried wolf. I got you. I got you. One day he kept doing it. They didn't believe him. And he got to crying out. Sheer terror. Oh, Lord, there's a wolf. He ain't know what to do but to start crying. Help! Help me! Help! Somebody help! Wolf! Wolf! The town people turn around and say, that's just Jimmy. He playing them shenanigans. He playing those shenanigans. Meanwhile, the wolf is eating his ass up. Help! Help me! They're like, he done gotten better at screaming for help this time. Almost sound like he's really getting ate up. He making noises like he done got real good with his joke. All the town people was like, not even knowing. Finally, the next morning, and they see nothing but the remains of little Jimmy. Got ate up by the wolf. And that was the end of the story of the boy who cried wolf. And you know what they said the moral of the story was? Well, beware what you wish for, because you just might get it. That was the moral of the story. Beware what you wish for. That wolf really came one day. And nobody believed him. Ate his ass up. What I'm saying is, you don't want on your grave, on your tombstone, too many shenanigans. Nobody believed him. You don't want on your tombstone, jokester to the end. A jokester until the end. You don't want that. I'd rather have mean and surly on my tombstone than somebody putting on my tombstone a jokester until the end. That's a hell of a joke. Died playing jokes on people. That's a hell of a joke. That's a hell of a joke. Died playing jokes on people. That's a hell of a joke. So when I pulled out on this motherfucker last night, they tried to plead for their life. And they realized the shit got serious. Listen, these last and evil days, the mark of the beast is upon us. You ain't got no time to be trying to figure out, are you just playing? Ain't nobody we gonna be running for our life. We're already running for our life. It said in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, 68, said, if you do not keep these commandments, if you do not keep my commandments, my statutes, my laws, my judgments, I will send you back into Egypt by way of slave ships. By way of ships. I will send you back into Egypt by way of slave ships, and there you will be sold unto your masters as bondmen, bondwomen, and no man shall buy you from it. No man shall free you. You will not be free. In fact, it goes on to say, in the morning, you're going to wish it was night. And at night, you're going to wish that it was morning time. And all day long, you're going to be afraid for your very life. In the book of Josephus, said we buy bread with the pearl of our lives. We risk our life to even go buy bread. That ain't no joke for us. We get arrested for jaywalking, a law that they instituted hard. Nobody even knew what jaywalking was. You know how blacks was really just, they was randomly just taken and put away, given 15 years for jaywalking, still on the books today. Read your 15 years to life for jaywalking. People done died in prison behind jaywalking. For jaywalking. I used to call jaywalking law, say, man, they got arrested for just walking black. Got arrested while black. Because that was the target, nigga. Black. So they invented the law of jaywalking. It suddenly came upon us. And nobody know what no jaywalking is. They even started making jokes about it. You jaywalking? The comedians started making jokes about jaywalking. Go back to your old school comedians and look up jaywalking, how they used to make jokes about it. Jaywalking? Niggas was trying to figure out what jaywalking was. There was never a such thing as jaywalking. People were put in prison behind jaywalking, bro. Lost jobs. Lost families. Etc., etc. We were primarily a target, bro. And then you get these Mexicans coming over here thinking they better than us. You should hear the way they talk about black people. Oh, they hair they hair is nappy and this, that, and the other, and it's nasty looking, and they don't like our hair. We don't give a fuck that you don't like our hair. We don't like your hair. Your hair looks like it came from a dog. That's not hair, that's fur. That's fur. You a furry animal. You ever seen the hair on a dog? You seen the hair on a white man? You seen the hair on a Mexican? Black people are the only ones in the Bible where it describes, says, our hair is like unto wool. We have woolly hair. And why do you think Christ says we are the sheep of his pasture? Behold, I send you as sheep among the wolves. You are my sheep. How many times Christ said, you are my sheep? How many times you hear Christ say, my sheep know my voice? My sheep know my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. You are my sheep. You are my sheep. You are my sheep. You are my sheep. You have hair like wool. You are my sheep. These last and evil days, man. These last and evil days. You don't have time for playing shenanigans. I don't have time for that. You see jobs closing down all around, businesses closing down. That used to be a 7-Eleven right there. But on the side of that gym where all that construction going, that used to be a 7-Eleven. It's closed down and they tore it down. You know why? Because of the drugs and the crime. The theft, the camaraderie. They shut it down. And there used to be a 7-Eleven right over there. You know what they turned into? A parking lot. Nah, bro, I don't. There used to be a 7-Eleven. Now it's a parking lot. They turned it into a parking lot. Then they put a fence around it to keep niggas out. Ain't that how they do? They beat you up, make you build it. Then they want to charge you if you want to come in. Make you pay to come in. They put a fence around it so you can't come in. Then put a time how long you can be there. But then turn around and say, this is a free world. Man, y'all so oxymoronic people. Some hypocrites. Like I said, there's something totally wrong with this world. There's something totally wrong with this world. Something totally wrong with this world. On a land that's stolen. On stolen land. It was all done on stolen land. How they stole the land. Killed the buffalo. brought in disease, instituted slavery, killed off the indigenous people. And you wonder why they want to be us. You're gonna get burnt up. That sun can't even take the sun. You gotta walk your dog. Can't take the sun. Can't take the sun. Yeah, that sun is hot out there. It's 100 degrees. But she stay in that sun too long, she gonna burn the hell up. It ain't gonna feel too good. Probably put on some sunblock. Probably put on some sunblock to help walk in the sun. See, we the people. We the people. You know what it is? We're so busy trying to uplift the white counterpart. Trying to uplift them. Want to save them. When it said Christ had hair like wool. His hair was like wool. I'm going to say this one last thing, then I'm going to be done. And it stands true to this day. I'm going to say this. And listen up. Because a lot of people just don't simply understand. But in the last days, there will be great tribulation, such as the world has not seen, nor will they ever see again. That tribulation will come upon the whole world to test those that dwell upon the earth. Revelation chapter 9. It says, all those men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. All those men which have not the seal of God on their forehead, they will be destroyed. They will be destroyed. You don't have to seal a God on your forehead, you will be destroyed. Stay wise, stay alert, stay safe, stay in the faith. The faith of our Lord, His salvation, His redemption. Shalom. And I hope that the next time it'll be a Shabbat where I'm able to speak. Burning his ass up. That sun is hot out there, bro.